Hello, beautiful beings. So good to be with you all. So I just did a very powerful clearing and healing as it relates to some of the energies that are coming up. And post clearing, I decided to do a reading. I separated it into two separate videos just so that you could get what you needed out of each. Now, each one has its own type of transmission with it, so that can help you on different levels. So please feel free to watch both of them or to whatever calls to you. Okay, so in our clearing, we did a lot of clearing of the shame and doubt, clearing of the astral realm, of negative ET interference that's coming up within connections. We dived into low self-esteem, nurturing the inner child. So we did a lot of really good stuff there. So I asked, how did this clearing benefit, and where is it that we're going? So I started with checking in with the inner child for the feminine, and I got Little Red Cap, which is Little Red Riding Hood. This is the same as the Fool card in this deck. And what I really get from this card here is actually about preparation and caring for community. Sometimes, the Fool also represents new beginnings. And I guess the new beginning I'm getting here based on the other cards that showed up is just like really this gathering of resources that has helped us to move forward as we grid in more into this new earth, okay? So the cards that come up would be the Three of Stones and the Nurturing Lodge of the Bulls, okay? So this would be the Queen of Cups and the Three of Pentacles, okay? Also what came up was the Four of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm really just seeing, especially with these cards, it's like, okay, we have the Queen, you have the Queen of Cups who's holding this large emotional space. She's also holding down, the space in which we can all come together and heal. I know for myself, when I was growing up, like my grandma's home was always just this place of love, of safety, of consistency. And, maybe you had a place like that growing up. Maybe that was your primary home. Maybe it was not. Maybe it was a friend's house. However it is that manifested for you, or maybe this is the invitation of it's time to figure out how to create that not only for yourself, but for your community. All right. So if we're coming together in a nurturing lodge, that's really this Three of Stones collaboration. It's working together. It's taking care of the community. It's the holding and gathering of resources so everybody has what they need. Now, that's what I think about with Little Red Riding Hood. She gathered everything she needed so that she could go to her grandmother's house, right? And she knew the path was straight. She went it. She got a little diverted by the wolf for a bit of time, but I think that's part of the invitation, right? It's just like, how do you stay really true to your vision, even as these different pieces start to move through and might try to cloud your judgment? How do you stay in faith? Versus going into doubt and fear. The opposite of faith is fear, okay? So if we can go on to the other side of the spectrum and say, okay, like I'm feeling fearful, but what do I believe? How can I be held? How am I protected? Her cloak was always this version of being protected, okay? So those are really strong energies for the feminine, and it goes along with some of what we've been coming up in readings, is like really coming into this self, into the own power of holding each other. I find that the most grounding thing I can do isn't just spending time with Mother Earth anymore. It's connecting with other divine feminine and talking about their experiences, their journeys, their downloads, their visions. And the more we come together in that unison, the more we're working together and we're creating this light grid so that we can really hold these like nurturing lodges of love. Okay, so as we tune over with the masculine, what's been so interesting about these readings, and I've been trying to use more and more of just the tarot, but with the different decks so we get the different stories. Those of you who've been watching me read for a while, you know that I don't always read by the meaning of the card per the traditional sense. I read by the story and the invocation that the card is bringing to light for me. I'm a storyteller, I'm a clairvoyant, so I really try to integrate the weaving of story into this, into these downloads, okay? So I'm going to hold up all of these at once because we got a double. We got High Priestess and High Priestess. This is for the masculine. We also got the Five of Arrows, which would be the Five of Swords, okay? So what I'm really hearing with this and what these cards indicate is paying attention to the needs of others, okay? And what does the High Priestess do? What does the Empress do? What does the Divine Mother do? What did Little Red Riding Hood and the Queen of Cups do? They all hold space for the nurturing of other people's needs, of other people's wants. And I feel like a big theme moving forward, especially in my own reality, is really paying attention to, I've done so much work to understand the greater whole. I research people's like bonding wounds, and I really work to be in this place of loving compassion so that I can understand them more, so that we can move forward into a problem solving. However, they're not coming to meet me to understand me. They're just holding their own perspective. There's not a lot of collaborative problem solving going on. Now, I'm not talking about this to vent. I'm talking about it being a witness in the process of how some of the energies are still a little bit skewed and what the invitation of it is. If we're going to come into sacred union, not only do we have to find this harmony of self, of, you know, caring for other people, nurturing other people, but it's also having that love and compassion for ourselves as we move forward and saying, hey, like, am I taking care of my own needs by nurturing this person? And yes, there's sometimes that giving to others is what allows us to deepen our experience in this reciprocal give and take. Sometimes we get really filled by giving to others, and sometimes we get really depleted. And what is the balance of that is when these relationships are reciprocal. Okay, so I do believe that this, dual action of the High Priestess here is the invitation for the masculine part to tune in to his gifts of being in the subconscious, being in the intuitive knowing, being able to read without being told all the time. Or even being able to hear if they are being told. There's nothing wrong with speaking our needs. It's hard, though, when we keep speaking our needs over and over again, and then that's not being received. Okay, so this Five of Arrows, sometimes the Five of Swords, this Five of Arrows, it really represents of like, hey, what is it that you need and how can I give to you? And you can see that the other people in this, like, she's filled with abundance over here, but these people are feeling a little bit of scarcity and lack. Okay, so that really shows me, like, that with this card, it's like, okay, well, here I'm sharing everything that I have to give, and this person's still holding on. All right, so this does feel like that internal challenge that's blocking this process, but we really want this internal and the external to match up, to mirror. All right, we don't want it to be a holding. We want it to be a sharing. All right, and to be held in that sharing by another. So again, we have another double that came up here. So we have a double Three of Wands, okay? Three of Pipes, all right? And there's generally an invitation for creativity, of seeing new vision. I am really curious as to what these cards, they have really fun little simple explanations. The Three, dream, envision, wander, all right? So there is a true, looking forward of seeing what it is to come. The external card that came up was the Eight of Cups. Sometimes this is about release, and I do see that. I think we are doing a lot of release so that we can move forward to the greater horizon, so that we can grid in the new work, so our path can be clear. All right, we have to to do this wash so that our visions can manifest. There's also a lot of collaboration in this card. A lot of shared visioning is what it feels. And I love that, it's just, there's such a similar energy in these two cards moving forward. It's like, if this is what's happening in the brain or like in the being, it's like, oh, I have all this movement, like this, this world that's alive. Like, it is kind of just like, how can I paint this canvas? Like, what can I move towards? And this feels like the action card of it. This is still like the, the dream, the like, wow, like I could step off this mountain. And this is like, you can see her steps, putting her best foot forward. Now she's taking her best step forward. All right. So as this relates to the union, I really see this like expansive way of beingness, of stepping forward into these greater truths, into a more creative reality. We've got, there's a lot of threes going on here that represents a lot of community, sometimes celebration, coming together, working together, and that's an overall message of the cards today. And anywhere that you are holding, whether masculine or feminine, or you're noticing things being held in close contaminants, and I think that there's a difference between these people as far as like this is like, I'm holding it, I'm thinking about sharing it. She's just like, I'm saving it for when it is needed, you know, and like, I'm really being mindful of how I use my resources and share my resources. I'm protecting my boundaries, where this person's being a little more selfish with them. All right. So it's really important to look at the people who are acting as me's and the people who are acting as we's. All right. And we want to surround ourselves with people who are really finding that way to generously give, because when we generously give to each other, or we even like balance our relationships in the reciprocal nature of how can I show up for you? How can you show up for me? That sort of thing. That's where we really do the magic of the work. All right. I'm being called to draw one more card. And that is from the Herbal Astrology deck. What is the overall message that we want to walk away from here? Popped right out. Okay. It says mugwort, psychic healing. All right. So we look in this card, and, you know, some of the essence that I'm really getting from it is, you know, this paying attention to the moon cycles. There's a lot of this high priestess energy kind of coming in through here, of really recognizing and celebrating the world of the subconscious. Look, in the clearing, we did a lot of work with mirrors, and this is kind of like an elusive mirror. I would say that because it's not offering a reflection, it's offering the magic. All right. And I do think that that's part of like the mirror work we're doing. We're going to get to the place where it's just like we become canvas and creations for each other, not necessarily like direct reflections of our wound. We want to see direct reflections of our magic coming forward. And I love that, like almost like the gift of true sight is coming through. So I feel like this really helps us discern. Owls are about discernment. It can be about deception too, but I really get this energy of discernment moving through. And obviously she's holding mugwort, which is a great herb to burn, you know, to enhance your psychic gifts, to clear your psychic space. You can drink it as well. But mugwort is powerful in that realm of clearing too. So there's a lot of mysticism in this card. I think that it really ties into these visioning cards of these holding these sacred spaces within ourselves and within our community, so that we're really working together for the greater good of all. So I hope this message resonated with you today. I hope that it brought you the gifts and things that you need moving forward. I am here to be a support for anyone and everyone who needs it. You can connect with me directly at prismhealers@gmail.com, and we can discuss session times and pricing as well. So let's do a clear reading. Let's connect. Let's share and witness each other's stories. And I hope you have a most blessed day. And may the blessing of mugwort move around all of us at this time. All right. Many blessings. Aho!